Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You can tell me where you're watching the webinar from. Where you're watching the webinar from. You can tell me on the chat still. I would love to know your location. Some of you are sending the Merry Christmas with the trees. Karibuni sana. So you can see Embu, Roiro, Goigua. I can see Mandela. Karibuni sana, Purity from Baringo. You're most welcome. We have a very interesting, uh, okay. We have a very interesting topic today. And you're going to learn a lot from Eldoret, Utawala, Kayole. I'm so happy to see all of you here. You can tell your friend that we are on. Apologies for the hinge that we delayed a bit. I really apologize for that. Tell a friend to just join us and to learn with us. We're going to train you on something that is going to help you on your bookkeeping. And the final question, if this is your first time, you can tell me a yes. If this is your first time to join our webinar, just tell me a yes. Just tell me a yes so that I can see if we have new people coming on board. And if you're new, we always, yes, Susan, Simon, oh my goodness, karibuni sana, Kennedy, karibuni. Robert, karibu sana. We always have this webinar once per month or twice or thrice. And we always train. We train on bookkeeping, audit, taxation. Just come and learn. They are free of charge. You can subscribe or you can follow us on our social media handles. And when you do, you always see these webinars. So someone is saying no audio, but I'm very sure the ones responding can hear my voice. So you can be able to hear my voice. So you can follow us. And also because you're going to share the notes, my co-host is going to share a register, which you're going to register your name and your email address, so that even we put you on our list so that we always send you the webinars and you can just join us when you get something that is going to interest you, and our webinars always interest you. So we're going to really have a good time. So let's dive into the topic for the day. Allow me to dive into the topic of the day. We're talking about bookkeeping, and I'm very sure that you have a note and a pen. Just note something that is worth writing. Of course, I'm going to share these notes with you, but you can share something. Just look for 3-4 takeaways. And I'm going to ask you that question at the end of the training. What is your key takeaways for you? So we are going to talk about enhancing bookkeeping to save on tax. And at the tail end, I'm going to take like an hour to train. And then I'm going to ask you, I'm going to answer your questions. You can keep asking on the chat. I'll get to the position where I can be able to answer all your questions relating to bookkeeping, audit, or taxation. And then we are going to introduce to you something special. So we're going to introduce to you something special, our software, my Accurate Book software. It is helping you on bookkeeping. So that is at the tail end, and we're going to show you how it's going to make your work flawless and very efficient. So let's dive in. The content for the day, I'm going to talk about what bookkeeping entails, the importance, how do you enhance the bookkeeping actually to save on tax, documentation required for taxation, especially, so that you keep your documentation properly. Then I'm going to talk about emerging issues in taxation, and we're going to call it a day. So what is bookkeeping? And for it, before I continue, let me also ask a question so that it can guide me on how your mic is muted, you are breaking. My goodness, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Fred and Evans. So I want to ask a question. What business do you do? Let me see the businesses. Or what can I ask? What Who are you? Are you an accountant? That is one. What do you do? Second, what business do you do? So that when I'm framing the bookkeeping, I can be able to relate to the businesses that you're doing. So just tell me on the chat, what do you do? Who are you? What business do you do? I can see Purity Auditor, Daniel Auditor, Moiraria, Agri Produce Exporter, Financial Consultant, Simon, Accountant Hospitality. That's the answer I want. So accountant hospitality, I think you have a hotel. Accountant student. Okay, tax assistant, accountant. Okay. So I can see what you do. What businesses or where are you employed? Where or what business? Let me see the business now. I'm a financial consultant in agribusiness industry. I'm a teacher running Science Practical Center. Okay. Accountant in IT company SACCO. Okay. Okay, that's okay. So that's okay. Let me use those ones to be able to train on bookkeeping. So that's okay. I'm going to use that to be able to accountant in a hospital, and I'm entrepreneur. I have a detergent company. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. It will help me to frame the training in the right direction. So let's talk about your bookkeeping. When I'm talking about bookkeeping, you also mirror what you're doing in the office, so that you can see the gaps and possibly where you can enhance your bookkeeping. So bookkeeping is a process of recording and organizing financial transactions for a business, tracking income, expenses, and assets and liability. So bookkeeping is how you're able to understand what your business does. When you're able to do your financials very well. For instance, for someone who has a company, from the time that you place an order, the documentation at every level. When you place an order, when you invoice, the invoicing has documentation. When the customer pays, when you check the bank reconciliation, when you come to the accounting software that you're using, how you're able to do the accounting software. When you receive the receipts, uh, if you do delivery, when you deliver something, when you receive items and you issue a GRN or good received note, the whole bookkeeping the whole bookkeeping cycle to just make sure that you're selling, you're buying other items. If you're producing, and at the end of the day, you're making profits. So the essence of having a business is to be able to get profits. So if the business, and how do you understand that the business is making profit? It is because you have the correct bookkeeping systems within the organization to be able to track these incomes, expenses, and everything else. We also understand the financial positioning of the company through the balance sheet that we do. So proper bookkeeping is crucial for managing financials effectively and ensuring long-term success and sustainability of our business. When I meet entrepreneurs and I ask them, even some of them who has been 10 years in the business, and I ask them, what is your profitability? How much profit are you making on a monthly basis or quarterly or half year or 1 year or last 1 year? They don't even know. Yet we have accountants us in the office. We don't get to subject our businesses into systems that can give us correct information. And if your business is not giving you correct, if your bookkeeping is not giving you correct information, you end up making bad decisions. So some of us are able to track sales very well, because we have to invoice, we have to receipt. But anything else, we don't track. We don't track our expenses. We don't track our purchases. We do payments, petty cash payments every time. We don't track them. And at the end of the day, even if I come to your organization and I tell you I'm going to do profit and loss for profit and loss, sometimes I'll report supernatural profit because of records. So record keeping is very critical. And when I find an organization that has proper record keeping, I know they are able to make proper decision. And even if they have a tax query, they are able to solve it properly and quickly because the documents are available. So what does bookkeeping entails? Recording financial transaction and all of them. Some of us even have M-Pesas, but you don't have that M-Pesa phone with us. Others, we don't do even bank reconciliation, something that is very critical. So recording of financial transactions, classifying the transactions in categories. Why do we do that? Because we are able to judge every area. How much is it making? How can we, for instance, if you have fuel, you classify and you categorize it in fuel so that you can be able to make decisions. So this month we spent $1 million on fuel. Last month we spent 500. What brought what made the amount to be increased? So you can be able to make information. You can be able to even look at items and say, this product we are selling, this one we are not selling, this one is slow, and you can be able to make that judgment. So sometimes you find we spend a lot of money on items like transport and fuel, whereas we could even purchase a vehicle and pay a loan and save a lot of money. But because we don't have that information, we cannot be able to make that decision. So categorizing is very, very important. Even when we come to petty cash, some of us spend petty cash of 100, 200, 300,000 per week, depending on the nature of the business. Do we categorize what did we buy? So when we buy food items, can we be able to know why? How can we minimize on this cost? When we keep buying on a certain items, you can be able to do that judgment. Maintaining journals and ledgers, very, very important. The journals track every entry. You can see how every entry was able to be journalized and how it moves all the way to the ledger. So maintaining those journals are very, very important. And right now we are using accounting softwares to maintain the journals. So the Asians are the places where I find those big books. But for now, we are having accounting software that can help us. And the essence is that you can be able to track every single entry. And some of these, even accounting software, they also have rights, so you can even know who was able to do this transaction. Bank reconciliation, I've really mentioned. When I go to an organization and they are not able to do a bank reconciliation per month, then I know that they're having a lot of issues. So and that is something very, very critical. And I'll ask you on the chat, do you do bank reconciliations? Generating financial statements. So this, at the end of the month, with all these transactions, we can generate a financial statement. And if you're able to maintain your accounting software very well, this is at a click of a button. The reason why our accounting software don't give us correct financial statement, because we don't give it the data, the correct information. Analyzing financial data to make decisions, of course, ensuring compliance with the regulations. When you keep bookkeeping, you're able to track. For instance, if you do tax planning, you can be able to know per quarter, this is the expenditure I'm supposed to have, and you can be able to have those regulations. Facilitating audits. So during an audit, and be able to guide you. So apologies for that. You can tell me if you can hear me. You can tell me if you can hear me. Yes, yes. Okay, sorry. Sorry for that. Okay. So someone is saying I do. Okay. Now, yes. Okay, sorry. Accountant in a hat. Okay. Sawa. So let's proceed. So using an accounting software, so when you have bookkeeping, we are able to have the correct audits and also the software. The importance of bookkeeping, there are so many. So possibly this one, I just do a reminder. I just do you a reminder. And some of you who are entrepreneurs, sometimes I find entrepreneurs who tell me, oh, I need a loan, or I'm having issues with my business, is not making money. And the biggest problem is bookkeeping. They cannot be able to even quantify what is not working. So if you not even be able to know what is working, even if you get a loan, it's going to put you in a deeper problem. So sometimes I feel when you're able to handle your bookkeeping issue, you can even be able to know, is this a business that I can be able to scale? Is it a business that I should close, or should? So that is how. Okay, sorry. My internet had dropped again. I don't know what is the reason. If you can hear me, you can tell me. Okay. So my co-host, kindly stabilize my internet. So the importance of financial transparency, of bookkeeping, the first one is financial transparency. You can be able to know how your money is moving. And some of us are sometimes some of us don't maintain the correct books because we have so many things inside the business that are illegal, or others are bad, or there's some dubious activities happening. So you want to make sure that everything, the bookkeeping is not kept properly. But those are not people who are on this webinar. So sometimes when you find even the people in the office who are reluctant on maintaining proper record keeping, sometimes you really judge why could be the reason. So financial transparency, helping in proper decision making. I've really talked about proper decision making, especially even decision on getting a loan, on buying an asset, on investing. Those decisions, first of all, require correct bookkeeping. Regulatory compliance, business planning, and forecasting. You can be able to plan next year. So you can be able to know this is working, this is not working. If I put more capital on this, this will yield, because you have records to show. So if I do this, I get this profit. You can be able to forecast. So 2025, you're not aiming aimlessly. You can be able to know where you want that business to be. Access to financing and investment. Of course, if you want to get a loan, if you get to have any financing, they want to see your books. And they want to see you're making money, and it is not fake books. So they want to see that that part, because if you produce financial statement to the bank which are fake, it will become to hurt you, because you're the one who is not be able to pay that loan. Risk management, you can be able to judge where the risky areas in your business. Audit facilitation, I've talked about that. When I come to your organization, there's a correct trial balance, the manual recordings are kept very, very well. It becomes very easy. And it also becomes very easy for me to be able to give you recommendation about your business. I can be able to judge and tell you, here, if you do this and this, you can make much. So if those records are not there, or they're incomplete, most of us have system, but we have incomplete records. So operational efficiency, you can be able to operate very well. Effective tax planning, I've talked about tax planning. Bookkeeping will help you do the tax planning very well. You can be able to know per month for VAT, this is the amount of money that we should pay. So we should organize ourselves like this. When I'm training about tax saving strategies, I talk about tax planning. Accurate business valuation. So you can be able to know how your business is valued, because you have the record keeping. The balance sheet can show the valuation of the business. So there are so many importances of having the correct bookkeeping. So how do we enhance? This was our main topic. How do we enhance our bookkeeping, especially to save on tax and to also get all the other benefits that we've talked about for bookkeeping? Regular review and reconcile accounts. Very important. And I want to challenge you, especially people who say they are accountants. Do we do this? Do we reconcile? Which reconciliations are these? Bank reconciliation, sales reconciliation, purchases reconciliation, petty cash reconciliation in every area. So when it comes to sales, how do we do reconciliation? You check the sales that you're having on your accounting software, the sales on your bank statement, the sales on your VAT invoices, the sales on your manual invoices. Those are 4 reconciliations. Are they aligned, all of them? So sometimes when I come for tax purposes, I find the bank reconciliation is reading 50 million. The VAT that was filed for the whole year is 20 million. The income tax that was done is 30 million. The manual recording is 40 something million. And yet the office has accountants and people who could have done this reconciliation prior. So on a monthly basis, could we sit down and have all our invoicing? If you invoice, some organization will invoice and the customer signs the invoice or the receipts. Others just maintain the accounting book. Can we get that data? Can we get that data at the end of the day and say, this is our sales ledger as per our accounting, my accurate books accounting software. This is our sales data. Then let's look at how we do our VAT. What did we include on our VAT return? This is it. Where are our invoices? These are they. So you can, what is a bank statement reading? So you can be able to reconcile all these calculations every single month so you don't pile issues. Bank reconciliation, check on your, some of us, we don't even do M-Pesa reconciliations. I've gone to an organization where a check bounced and nobody can even know. Money was sent on M-Pesa and then it was cancelled and nobody could even tell. So those reconciliations are very, very important. Others, and now I'm going to talk about accounting software audit, which is very important. Some of us even raise invoices and we cancel those invoices on the system. So the system, at the end of the month, the system is giving you 3 million, yet your actual sales is 2 point something. There were credit notes, there were invoices that were supposed to be canceled. Those reconciliations are very, very important. So do we do them? Utilize accounting software effectively. QuickBooks Online, Zoho, My Accurate Books. My co-host, My Accurate Books is on the list. So utilize those accounting softwares effectively. Right now, you cannot. It's very, very hard for you to run a business, even the smallest of the smallest, without an accounting software. And that is why My Accurate Books comes in, because we are handling issues, especially for small micro businesses, SMEs. That is when we are giving them a solution. So use it because it's going to enhance your work. And you're able to even see data. You can be able to see your sales in a day. You can be able, just a click of a button, to see all your sales, to see all your purchases, and becomes very easy for you to make business decisions. Maintain organized records. So after we do the accounting software, we need to have manual records. Remember, you've received purchases invoices from suppliers. You've received receipts, and you also have casual wages that you're paying. You need to maintain those records. And remember, KRA requires the records to be kept for 5 years. So you have to get a room where you can have these manual records saved somewhere. There are some organizations that have gone a notch higher, that at the end of the month, they are able to scan all their documents and save them on soft. So they can have the manual records and they can have the records on soft, which is very, very important. If you go that extra mile, it is very, very important. Some of us, if I ask you for documents for year 2023, it is last year. You can't find. Right, right now we are solving issues with legacy, and I don't know if you've solved, because they are supposed to solve them by end of this month. Legacy, and this was data for year 2014 backward, 2010, 2209. There are some organizations, to our surprise, that had those documentation. Of course, the law says that the 5 years, so that 5 years was not there, but there are organizations that give us data for 10 years, 15 years. So how efficient is your data record keeping? Some of us, the moment we file for VAT, we are very, very efficient to just make sure that you get all our invoices, because we need to file VAT for, but the moment we file, even I ask you for data for the last 3 months, you can't be able to provide concrete information. You filed an invoice on iTax. If I tell you, give me this manual invoice you filed, you can't find it. Some are mixed. Customer B, customer A, they are mixed. Some of you even KRA raises issues that you used a PIN number for another customer and it was supposed to be for another customer. You even confuse the PIN numbers. It's because of record keeping. So you stay updated on tax laws and regulations. So when you enhance your bookkeeping, you are able to stay updated on tax laws. Of course, we really train about tax trends, taxation. We've been having a webinar about tax trends every single month because there are so many new stuff that comes up. And you can always come here and learn about those. Just be updated so that you can be able to see how you can position your business. Implement internal controls. So many of us don't do internal controls in our organization. And when you're able to do bookkeeping, then also internal controls becomes very, very easy. How do we do internal control? And what is the importance? By the way, we have a full webinar about internal audits and internal control. It's very, very important, especially now. It's very, very important. Do we do stock taking? Some of us have stock worth millions of money, but we don't even do stock take. Some organization like, yes, especially the ones who say hospitality. Sometimes you find people who are selling their items, cooks and staff come with the items and they sell them in your premise. Controls at every single level. So sometimes you find even when it comes to bookkeeping and when it comes to even raising invoices, you find an accountant and they're here. I know some of you are watching. You're the one who is raising, incorporating a customer. You raise an invoice. You when the customer pays, you do the payment. You do the reconciliation. You're the central point of that business. And every time all internal controls are collapsed because if you raise a customer who is incorrect, someone for the 10 years that I've done this, I've seen these things. That someone will raise a customer who is fictitious customer. The customer is raised an invoice, and because at the end of we have a store manager who requires an invoice for items to leave the organization. So the invoice is created, of course, fictitious. And then the stock manager looks at the invoice, agrees to the items moving out, and they go. And these people, they come back to the system and they say the items were paid. And this is a spiral. It keeps happening every single day. There are so many losses that organizations are experiencing today just because they don't have enhanced internal control. So this is something that we can be able to do as an organization, to just come and scan how you're able to do your bookkeeping and be able to help you incorporate internal controls at every level. But this is something that even if we tell you and we give you a document and we tell you at this point, do this and this, it's also on your implementation and how you walk through. Because if you don't have systems that are flawless, bookkeeping that is working, accounting system that is working, internal controls that is working, you cannot be able to know how you can scale that business or how you can make even decisions about the business. I always say most of us are not having sales issues. You having customer. Most of us concentrate on customer acquisition, selling. But most businesses, we forget the managerial position of how to manage a business. And that is where the biggest problem is. So as we push on sales and brand and everything, how do we do the management of the business? Do we have the proper system, proper processes, and some of these audits and internal controls? Separate personal and business finances. If you're in that position that you're running the business and it's still funding your personal expenditure, just make sure that you separate. It's very, very important. Have a separate business account, not your personal account to handle the business, and so many other things. Stop operating your business on mobile banking. You're the one who's doing withdrawals, deposits. Those bring a lot of tax issues. Seek professional assistance when needed. Kindly seek that help so that you can be able to manage the business properly. And sometimes, because we are the people inside the business, we understand the business very, very well. So sometimes when you seek this professional help, it's just something very small that you need to just work it out, and everything is able to align. Conduct periodic financial reviews. Periodic, have internal controls audit, internal audits, quarterly, half year. Just have that an independent eye in the business. Sometimes for us, we charge something very, very small, but it can really help you. 3 months or 4 months or quarterly, half year. Just have a half year review of your business given by an external person who can be able to tell you how the business is operating. Invest in ongoing training and education, very important. And I congratulate you because you're here to learn about bookkeeping. There are so many training out there. Just learn because they help you be able to enhance how you're able to operate. Set reminders for important deadlines. So set a reminder, and reminder for pay is not on 9th. It is on 4th, on 2nd, on that, depending on your organization. Don't wait until 9th. That's when you're making this payment. So just set a deadline that is prior and work on it, and make sure that you're able to finalize on that. It's not when you now it gives you a reminder, then you say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Then there was no importance of the reminder. For VAT, especially for people who have a lot of turnover, if you come here, when I talk about tax saving strategy, I say, if you have a lot of turnovers and you VATable turnovers, then VAT, you have to conclude your VAT before you close the month. After you close the month, you do your calculation and you find, oh, I'm supposed to pay KRA a lot of money. Yet when prior, there are so many things that you can do to just make sure that you minimize the amount that you pay. So when we do saving strategies, just come and learn. Build an audit trail. Do we have approvals and audit trail in our system? Can we be able to see the trail? Internal audit, tax health checks. So when we have an internal audit, we are able to, for instance, if we do a 3-month audit, we are able to see issues before they become so huge. Tax audits, tax health, just make sure that you're just able to audit the organization, re-audit again, because this help you to learn, to relearn, and to be able to move the business in the right direction. Also building an audit trail when you're also having rights. When you're operating a software and you're having rights, is also built on the audit trail. So let's talk about all the documents required for bookkeeping purposes. And you can tell me if you have all of them. And if you don't have all of them, you can incorporate them. Sales invoices and receipts. Of course, I know those ones we have because a business has to sell. If it is not selling, it's not a business. It's something else. So I know we have invoices. Invoices you give when someone is not paying you on spot. So receipt you give when someone is paying you the money. Purchases, invoice and receipts, the ones that you receive from your suppliers, from those ones. Bank statements, credit card statement, M-Pesa statement, reconciled. It's not just statement. Statement with reconciliations. Expenses and petty cash. Register, I don't know if we have the petty cash register, petty cash vouchers, physical receipts, payment vouchers. And there are some organizations that I find them doing very, very nice work So for payment voucher, if someone came and to collect a check, so it's your supplier, the payment voucher is there. It is written, the supplier name, the amount, the invoice number, and the invoice is attached. If this invoice is attached, if there is a delivery note is attached there, if there was a good received note that was raised when the goods came, it is attached there. So someone who is even signing the check can go back and be able to flat through and see what are the documents for us to sign this specific check. If the customer has a supplier statement, attach it there. The statement will show that we paid last week, we paid him 50,000. Today we are paying him 50, then the other 50 next month, and the other, you have that payment supplier statement attached right there. Then on the payment voucher, it has a section. So there's someone who prepared, there's someone who authorized, there's somebody who checked. You can have 3 checkings. And the customer, the person who is speaking, they have a space where they can sign. Someone will tell you, I did not pick your check. So there's someone who picked, is supposed to have it there, and they sign. And some places, they even ask you for their ID number. And this check that you have given out, make sure you also photocopy the check. So you also, after the customer picks the check, you photocopy the check and still attach it to the documentation that you're left with. So there are some organizations that are very thorough, especially if you work with the Asians. They are very thorough on documentation. So do the same. I've gone to a client who told us to audit a supplier. The supplier was asking for 14 million. This client who called us was saying, I know my debt is 5 million, but the supplier is saying 14 million. Can you imagine? That's about 9 million. And we went back. It was about 2 years. We couldn't find invoices. We couldn't even find check files. And some of these people come and learn your weakness, and they manipulate you on that weakness. Some of you even pay twice or thrice. When somebody is able to understand your weakness, they are able to manipulate you. So why don't you have correct documentation that you can be able to go back, and even if your memory it's not serving you right, you have documentation that you can, because you cannot memorize everything about the business. So there are some organizations that the owner, when I ask, give me the debtors list, the debtors list is on the owner's mind. It's not anywhere. You can't find it on the system. The owner will sit down and tell you, oh, this person, I think I owe him 50,000. This one, I guess, is 20. This one, and you're like, how do you grow that business? How do you even operate? You even so stressed up for no good reason. So bookkeeping. Let's come to so also payment, petty cash vouchers. I wish I had a petty cash voucher. Petty cash voucher. So when you're doing possibly something petty, and petty is petty in different organizations. There are some organization 5,000 is petty. There are others that 5,000 is a huge payment. So petty depends on the nature of the organization. So those petty cash invoices, when you give petty cash per week, I don't know you give petty cash per how long. I prefer a week so that you can look at it. When you give out that petty cash, possibly you give out 50,000 or 100,000. And when you give that petty cash, it's not cash to pay anything. It's cash to pay something that was written on a paper. We need money for this and this and this and this. So this is our petty cash requirement. Some of you leave money, or I left 20,000 for petty cash. Or to pay on what? To pay on something that was written down. So after they spend the money the whole week, when they come to be reimbursed with some more money, first, they come with the petty cash that was spent last week, with documentation. So this will be petty cash vouchers, receipts, invoices will be attached there. So you go through. So I gave you 50,000. I can see all the documentation. After that is over, then what requirement for this week? I have this requirement. So you come up with another requirement of 40,000 or 30,000. It is this that we require. Let people forecast. We need this money for this week. Let people plan ahead, not just, don't just give money for, and then you're able to keep this per week. You're able to keep that document on the petty cash file that is, and you're able to close that week. Then you move to the, it is very, very simple. So if you're able to put these systems, they're just flawless. So that is expenses and petty cash and payments. When we come to payroll, we are supposed to do salary vouchers, schedules, pay slips. So salary vouchers, you can, or payroll. So you, at the end of the month, you can have a payroll. And there are systems that also can help you on creation of a payroll. In my Accurate Book software, we are preparing the payroll. It will be ready. The system for payroll to be ready next year. So there are systems that I can be able to help you on that, or you can even do it on Excel. And when you get the payroll, you can verify, you can sign, you can have different verification points, and then you sign. Then these salary schedules, possibly you are paying on a bank account, you can do that, you can do the signature, and you can review. And this one will also include if you're doing payee, if you're doing any bonuses, any allowances, you can even have everything, documentation for review. Asset register. So when you buy something, you have an asset register. So if you buy a computer, there's an asset register. It could be manual, could be soft. And when you register, you also put it in a file, asset file. Some of you will ask you how much you even paid, which asset you bought for the year. You can't even tell. So it should have its different file. And note it, there are organizations who go extra mile to even do the barcoding, and it's important. The organizations who have a lot of assets, for instance, a school who has so many desks, so many chairs, so many beds. So depending on the nature of your business, there are some organizations that an asset register is very, very important. Varies is like stocks. Very important. So for others, you just buying 1, 2, 3 things, 4 things in a year, just have that file and keep putting those invoices and those logbooks there. Receipts are for business expenses. So if you made any expense, make sure that you have receipts. Stock management. Stocks is very important. And stocks is one of those internal control issues that you should be able to do. Reconciliation, controls, internal controls. So some of you have a lot of stock. There's someone who said here that he works in a hardware. I'd ask if you do stock takes. There are some, as in your stocks is worth millions of money, and there's no stock take happening, physical count, reconciliation not done. So stock management, stock is cash, is business, is what you're selling. So if you don't have that stock, you're not in business. So make sure that you're able to put it together, stack it together. There are other organizations that can do a stock take of 10 million, 50 million within 30 minutes. The way they've arranged the stock, they can even be able to do it very, very fast. Do it. And if you find an organization where you refuse to do it, then there are so many questions to answer. So push those ones. Even if you don't want to do stock reconciliation, then don't do business that is related to stock. Do service industry. Yeah, because you end up, for instance, a wholesale. This wholesale is selling 1 million, 2 million in a day. If you that wholesale, the critical positions of that business, the continuity of that business is fast stocks. So stocks has to be monitored from the store, from the time they are loaded to the customer. The whole cycle has to be complete. That there is no stock loss. So if you're not able to complete the entire process of stocks, then don't operate that wholesale. Do something different. There are people who are not articulate in their personality. Let me just share in your personality, you're not detailed. Your personality is not detailed. If your personality is not detailed, choose businesses that don't require a lot of details. That's a by the way. So if you're not able to look at number, there are people who, when they see, they're entrepreneurs, but when they see numbers, they're like, I know, I don't understand. If you don't understand those numbers, then do other business that doesn't require you to look at some things very clear. When I see, especially people who are able to move huge businesses, huge cash flows, huge stocks, they have a different personality. They are detailed. They are stock oriented. They are very articulate with small details, because that is what moves that business. So the next one is director accounts. So director accounts, if you have a director and you keep investing, you're putting money in, you're withdrawing, a director account is very, very important. By the way, if you don't have that director account, you do deposit, you withdraw as a director, then those will raise a lot of tax queries. And I always advise not to do that. Let the business operate independently from you as a director. Loan agreement and statements, if you have loans, the documentation are required by KRA. They want to verify that you have the loans. Some of us use the loan balance to balance our balance sheet. Is very dangerous. The moment you do that, it shows that your accounting has a problem. Taxation and tax returns. So if you're doing taxation, make sure that you have proper documentation. It's not when we file or you do an e-slip or you pay via M-Pesa and then you don't even know where the e-slip went. You just paid via M-Pesa. No, just have a file. Even if you pay via M-Pesa, why don't you print that e-slip or PRN and write the details for that M-Pesa payment? Have it somewhere, and even the date. You know, when we do tax tax queries, some of these documents become very, very important. So to have it somewhere saved in the file, so that in case in future we can be able to track. I'm almost coming to the end of the training. So give me 10 minutes. Then I look at your question, or I can let me ask a question. Do we do accounting system audit? Do we do accounting system audit? Let me hear your view. Do we do accounting system audit? Someone is saying here, I have the experience on how stock management is crucial and it can cost you if you miss doing it, especially in manufacturing company. Believe me. True, true, true. If you have stocks, stock is business. Track every coin. Purity is saying, I'm just learning this now. Purity, possibly that is the reason why you're saying the business is not working. And then we tag it to economy and we tag it to Zakayo. Kenya Kwanza government, but it's us who are not managing our businesses properly. We are not managing our businesses properly. Then we have all these excuses around. Just go back to the organization and do your business model, your processes very, very well. So I'm asking, do we do accounting system audit? The accounting software that you have, has the auditor ever done an audit on it? So let me talk about what that audit entails. Let me share what that audit entails, and it is very crucial. So that next next year when you're doing audit, you request for this. If we come to do audit for you, we always do this for you. I'll have a segment on the management report that I'll report about your accounting software system audit. I'll do that and I'll report and I'll give my observation and my recommendation. So what are we looking for? Levels of data entries. So at what levels do we do data entry on this system, and who does that? Some organization will have cashiers, accountant, receivable accountant, payroll accountant. What are the levels of data entry? What are the internal controls at every level? When I come to your organization, you're doing customer creation, you're creating the invoice, you're doing payments, you're receiving payments, no. The levels, internal controls at every level. When we come to incorporating a customer in our database, because most of the softwares, you have to create the customer first before you sell to them. What do we do? What information do we provide for a customer to be able to sell to them, especially if you are selling on credit? There are customers that you just need a name and you just do an invoice or a receipt. They are cash sales. But a customer who is getting an invoice, they are going to pay tomorrow or the other day or after a week, and you're giving them items worth 100,000, 200. And when I look at the customer data, I just find a name without anything else, then there's a problem. So for this person to graduate to become a customer who we can give a credit, what is the criteria that we should look for? And is it put there on the system? So level of data entry is very, very important. Internal control, access rights. Who has the right for what? So this accountant has the right until what level? The other one has it. Who does approval? Yes, I talked about approval system. Approval. When we do petty cash, there are petty cash that we do over the system. So my Accurate Books software, we are developing a petty cash system. That petty cash system has levels of approval that even if I give you a petty cash worth 30,000, before you pay out, because you're going to pay this money on the system, before you pay out, you ask an approval to another person, to your supervisor. They approve over the system, then you can pay out the money. So approval system. Others, if you have to raise a credit note, very vital. Credit notes should go through different approvals in the system. So how do we do those approval, and who does that? Access rights, backdating. Some of our systems are able to even backdate. As in, someone can raise an invoice today. Today is 6th. Can raise an invoice today, and items go out. And because they don't want to say they received a payment, they backdate it to 6th, 2023. And you can't tell. They backdate, delete of information. They can even delete an invoice. They can delete information. They can take an invoice that was created yesterday and they maneuver with the invoice to create another one. All those things are in the system. Audit trail. Can we be able to do a trail of the audit and a trail over the system on how the transactions were moving? So if somebody now come and say, you gave me items worth 100,000 after a week have paid, can we be able to see how the payment was done? And some of us, we do those payments over the system. We don't even credit the bank. And those are the places where we are able to do bank reconciliation, because if you receive that money through M-Pesa and that M-Pesa is in the equity account, do we come back and do those reconciliation over the system to just help us do the audit trail? Approval system I've talked about. Reconciliation. Is a system able to do bank reconciliation, stock reconciliation? Some organization will keep selling stocks, and and they raise an invoice for a customer. The customer goes to pick items and they are told, no, we don't have that one. Yes, the system is showing that it is there. Do we reconcile the physical stock with the system stock and explain their variances? So these variances that you are having every day, where was it? And done daily. When you wait until a month, you can't even know if there were losses. You can't even be able to know where are you losing your stock or your items. Reporting. Does the system able to give you reports? Is it able to give you a sales report, debtors report, creditors report, in bank reconciliation, trial balance, profit and loss, balance sheet? Is it able to give you concrete information about all those items so that you can know how the business is operating at a click of a button? Is it user friendly? Is it able to be really understood by the people who are operating in it? By the way, some of these things, when I talk about this, these are some of the things that we have pushed to develop our own system. And I'm going to talk about that. Let me continue. I'm going to talk about that. So if you need a system auditing operators, we're going to do audit for you. And we also do system audit at very reasonable prices. Accounting books required for tax purposes. I've really talked about this in the previous area. So I'll just mention sales ledger. So for accounting purposes, I talked about this. Documentation required for bookkeeping is quite similar. Sales ledger, KRA will most likely ask you for these items. Sales ledger, because they want to verify the sales that you have provided. Purchases ledger, they want to verify the purchases. Sales and purchases invoices, the physical invoices, they can raise a sample and they can tell you we want all of them. General ledger, they want to see your expenses, all of them. They want to see the journals. So you keep your correct books complete. Asset register, they want to see if you own the assets. M-Pesa statement, bank statement, they want to see if the bankings are correct with what you have filed. Debtors and creditors. Sometimes we use the debtors and creditors account to balance our balance sheet, and it's very dangerous. So if today you say your debtors are 50 million, yet you sold 10 million, there's a gap there. And by the way, when you get an auditor who doesn't understand tax queries, they can really mess you up, especially on how they present the balance sheet. So debtors are credit sales. So when you say that you did 50 million and you did 10 million on your sales, remember credit sales is still sales. So that is a missed gap. So salaries and wages, how we do, they want to see the payrolls, the cash or wages sheets, director's account, especially where director is depositing withdrawals, doing what, those things all over the bank statement, they trigger director account. Loan statement, if you declared a loan on your balance sheet, they want to see. And some of you use the loan balance to balance your balance sheet, and you don't have the loan. Actually, that is a trigger. It shows that there are under declarations in your profit and loss. Inventory accounts, so closing stock, they want to see the closing stock sheets. They want to see how much. Some of you also use the closing stock to reduce your profitability. So you keep doing it, and one point your closing stock is so high and you can't be able even to explain. So key tax compliance guidelines through a thorough understanding of your business tax obligations. Maintaining accurate records, I've talked about. Ensure timely and accurate filing of returns. Explore legitimate tax planning strategies. Come to learn tax strategies. We'll train next year. Engage with tax professional consultants to ensure your business is fully compliant. Regular check the official communication from KRA to stay updated. We always have tax trends every month. So just come and hear, see what are the new trends on taxation, respond promptly and accurately to KRA upon request for information. So when we talk about KRA audits, I always tell you to just make sure that you're able to engage them. And when we're talking about tax audits, I talk about that a lot. So those are some of the key tax compliance guidelines, especially when we talk about bookkeeping. The main one in this is maintain accurate books. Just make sure that you have records. Bookkeeping is the core of everything. It's the core of taxation, the core of profitability of the business, the core of business continuity. So it is very, very important for that. So let me answer a question before I introduce my accurate books. My co-host is right there to answer some of your questions. Just write a question. So Rachel asked, what is the best thing to do as an accountant when the owner of the business who has employed you defiles all accounting requirements, standards, and demands you to do accounting their way? So let me see what was the answer. Evans answers you. Write them a letter and a copy and copy KRA about the situation. Evans, I don't think you can do that. In case of a court case, you're clear. So that would be exposure for now this client. For me, I would say if whatever is happening in the business or by your employer is not accordance to your values, remember business depends on also your values. So for them, possibly they have other values. They don't know doing business the right way. So if it doesn't work in that position, why don't you quit? Look for another job and let them be. So don't go to a job that you don't like every day. The life is too short for that. So if you feel that you have expressed and you should, and also if you keep staying there, you don't grow. Because whatever you learned, the standards and the regulation you learned, you cannot be able to implement them. So just start looking for a job and exit. So someone is asking, do you have a blog or newsletter? Yes, we do. We do newsletters every week. Gitonga, you can you kindly register on that chat, and then we can share you. Also, Gitonga, you can follow me on LinkedIn. That's where I really share the newsletter. I also need you to expound on manufacturing accounts and construction costing. So that is Jeff. I don't know specifically what you want us to talk about. Kindly touch on current tax procedures amendment bill regarding amnesty. So we saw that they don't want to give us amnesty. We are still following up on the case. Possibly in January, I'm going to give you the tax trends. We'll start with that, especially the new taxes that are coming on board. Remember, there are so many amendments. Some of you are able to even do public participation in some. There are so many, even if the finance bill did not go through. There are so many other tax changes that are happening every single day. So I'll have a webinar on tax trends. I've been having problems generating it. Jeff, you can do a calendar booking. You can call us. I'm going to give you our numbers and possibly you can see how we can help you out. Okay. So Jeff, okay, so manufacturing is one difficult in terms of accounting. And for me, I think manufacturing is the easiest. I don't know why. Because you make sure that you record your raw materials very, very well. Then you have a production area. Then you have the finished product area. So for clients that I work with who do manufacturing, I see them segmenting their books and their transactions that way. They have a raw material store and they are able to maintain that one that purchases the entire bit. They have the production area where these items move from now and then the production area. When the production is done, there's a finished product store where now they are able to monitor the stocks at that particular level. So there are also other accounting software that can help you in doing that. But the accounting software could be sometimes complicated because they also but the accounting software that work mostly, they pick the items at the finished product area. When it is already finished product, they now put it in the stocks and they start selling it. But the entire process of production of raw material, most of the time you find the systems that are being used, they don't incorporate that area. But I also understand because, there's bits of mixing. We are mixing this and this and this to come up with this. So, and your mixture is not another person's mixture. So most of them you find that mixing is done on Excel, is done manually to just now track how the raw materials are moving from the raw materials store to the production area. So let me proceed. So today we're going to introduce to you my Accurate Book software. So I also ask you on the chat, have you downloaded the system? And I want to give you the story behind the Accurate Books. So we have a mentorship program that we do, where we mentor people to do business. And in that mentorship program, when you come in, it's 6 months program. If you can, okay, let me explain it. So we've it's called Skill Up Mentorship Program. You can go on social media and be able to view. When we host a training every month, this is our CSR program. It's supposed to help people do business, especially people within our communities that just need something to do and to raise their families. So they come and learn a skill. When they learn a skill, they go out there and do that business. So these skills are cottage industry skills. Making items, soaps, yogurt, baking, so many items that our trainers train. So when they start doing this business, they report to us they are doing business. We incubate them. Of course, during incubation, we also incubate other businesses. The incubation program is open. So it's a 6 months program, once a month. We run on something to scale your business. So we learn on marketing, financial management, customer service. We have a full curriculum, social media marketing. And what we do is that we make sure that somebody, when they come in, they are able to double their sales. So every month they have to tell us how much they are selling. So it is on those spaces where I would ask them, how much did you make for this month? Because we do that, then we do targeting for that month to the next month. And then you have to give us feedback. Why did you achieve? Some will achieve and more, and they'll say, I achieved this because I did this and this, because we just want to mentor them. After by the time they are 6 months, some are able to open their companies. They're able to even rent out places where they do these businesses. So it is in those places where, when I saw them doing a lot of manual documentation, I told them that I'm going to get an accounting software fit for you. An accounting software that is cheaper, that is user-friendly, that does not require any accounting background for you to be able to operate it. Because some of the people that do these businesses, because business is an art, it doesn't sometimes require a lot of education. So you find that they don't have a lot of education to understand the software, and that's how we incorporated my Accurate Books. It is very user-friendly. It can be able to really give you good reports. We have a paid version and a free version. The free version is incorporate your sales only. And the reason why we put it as a free version, most of entrepreneurs, when they start doing business, they just want to understand their sales. So you can be able to raise an invoice, raise a receipt, see all your customers, and be able to see your data. It just manages your sales and makes everything very easy. Then we have the paid version that now has the expenses, has the purchases, and can be able to give you the profit and loss. So the free version is free, totally free. You can start. If I see some keeping for people, I'm doing this and this, I'm doing a service, you can incorporate it. It's going to help you. It's very simple. You incorporate it on your phone. You incorporate it on your phone. We have the application version and the web version. Then when you go to a client, you want to raise a nice invoice, you just use it. A nice receipt, you just use it, and you track how you're doing your business. So the paid version, we are charging 500 per month. And it is free of charge for Christmas. This month, the entire month from 1st to 31st, it is free of charge. Just come in and use it. And my co-host is here to take you through for the next 20 minutes on how my Accurate Books works. So they should be, I know he's standby. We also have a Christmas offer for our services. This is audit, tax, bookkeeping, advisory services, 20%. So you can go ahead on the chat, do a calendar booking. My co-host, you can do a calendar booking, or you can talk to us. You can talk to us on that number. Just tell us, you just book us to do your books next year. We're going to give you that offer because you're able to book. And we're going to give you all this. I'm very good when it comes to management reports, just because for me, I really want to see your business grow. So I will always give that perspective of how you're running the business, the bookkeeping, the audit software, the software that you're using, internal control, just to enhance you. Some of the organizations, we come to them when we are doing audit, we find they are having so many issues. And sometimes we raise a management report that is so big, but with the time, after 6 months, after another year, they come ticking the spaces where they are able to do implementation. And if you do want also us to help you implement some of these areas for you to be able to grow your business, you can still do that. So we keep enhancing every year until you have a process that is workable. So last month, we were able to host a launch. We were launching the Skill Up Mentorship Program. And we were also launching the Accurate Book software. And those are some of the photos. We had very interesting guest list, and they really helped. They really trained us on how to create sustainable businesses. So I also wrote a book. This is a 1-month-old, Reignite Your Dreams. So you can also order the books. That book is mostly on what I talk about on my social media handle, especially on Facebook. January, I'll have, as we do tax trends, we're also going to do goal setting. I love to do goal setting webinar. I'll do goal setting in January. Just come. And that goal setting basically is on this book. Reignite Your Dreams. How do you set goals and achieve them? Is a practical guide on achieving all your goals and dreams. I love the part that I wrote about the call to action. I love the call to action. So every topic, the first topic I talk about purpose. So how do you know your purpose? And at the tail end, I write how to know your purpose, and I ask questions which you should answer to know your purpose. So I love the call to action that every chapter you can be able to gain something. When I talk about now setting your goals, you can actually set them. When I talk about the mind, there are so many, let me not preempt, but it has a call to action at every, which makes you work on yourself. So the book is 1,000 shillings. You can still order on the number. I'll give you the number. There's 0728. So that was the LWK Africa team. The Skill Up mentorship team. We've been able to train over 5,000 people, and over 1,000 people are doing businesses in various sectors through the Impact of Skill Up Mentorship Program, and we are excited. And I'm very sure that next year, God willing, we're going to impact more lives. So we have different services, and we were also able to rebrand from LWK Associates to LWK Africa. So it was a huge event for us. So we can help you do internal controls, bookkeeping, tax services. For me, I handle the tax sector, and I'm able to represent you on your case on different areas. And financial consultancy, advisory. If you want to make that decisions, we can help you. And we are located in Thika in Westlands. Yes. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your holiday. And we pray for safety. God is going to give us a good period of rest so that we can be able to meet next year. Just come on board. I always have these trainings every month. They are free of charge. Just come and learn as much as you can. How do you volunteer on Skill Up Mentorship Program? Jacqueline, we're gonna get your number. You can come volunteer, become a trainer, by the way. Most of the incubation space, I train on financial management and that, but I have people who have partnered with me to train on customer service, on sales, on marketing, social media marketing. So just come on board, whatever area that you'd want to, you can. How do you download on the phone? I'm going to show you right now. Yeah. How much is a book? I said 1,000. So thank you so much. I'm here. My Accurate Books team, are you ready? You can come in. Yes, there's a desktop version. We have a web version and an application version. So it's remaining 15 minutes to 12. We just take you through just quickly for you to just see how it operates. Thank you for training. Karibu sana. I hope you've gotten a lot of insights. As my team sets up, give me 2 takeaways. 2 takeaways out of bookkeeping. I hope I did not scare you. It's not complicated, by the way. It's a system. When you get it, you just get it. So give me 2 takeaways on the bookkeeping training. When will tax training be scheduled? We'll give a calendar by possibly the second week of the year. And we also do bookkeeping masterclass, bookkeeping audits, masterclasses on bookkeeping, on audit and taxation masterclass. That one we charge. So we're going to give you a full calendar for the whole year. You can actually plan, come learn, get a certificate. That certificate can help you even show capacity and capabilities. So when you come, for instance, when you come to the organization and you tell me, I've done CPA, I've done degree, we want to see extra. What extra do you do? Is it combined? No, it is not combined. It is bookkeeping separate, audit separate, taxation separate. So for taxation, we have a masterclass for 2 weeks. Bookkeeping, we have one for a week. We have audit for a week.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Madam Regina, for the amazing session. My name is Pius, and I'll be taking you through the mobile application version for my Accurate Books accounting software. So my Accurate Books, the link has been shared on the chat for you to download. Once you download, you will able to you will be able to see this initial screen for logging in. If you don't have an account, below sign in, you can see there's a link for registering, where you just sign up. You provide your details for your business, and you'll be able to create an account on my Accurate Books, which will be your business account. For the purpose of time, I'll proceed and use an account to log in. Okay, so once you've logged in, this is the initial screen that you have. You have at the top, you have sales report. You have an analytics of the sales performances on the graph. Then we have a quick navigation for debtors report, received payments, credit notes, items and services. Then below that, we have a debtors report. And finally, we have a quick navigation of adding an invoice or a receipt. So to access all the views for the application, at the top you can see there are 3 horizontal bars, which when you click on them, you'll get this menu. So this is the menu that is accessible all over the application. The first item, we have a dashboard. We have products and services. The third one, we have sales. So under sales, it's an expandable menu. When you expand, you are able to see the invoices, the receipts. Next, we have credit notes. And finally, we have received payments. Then below that, we have purchases. Under purchases, we have purchase orders. Then we have next item as purchases. We also have debit notes, suppliers, and pay purchases. The other menu item we have is just below purchases will be expenses. Then after expenses, we have customers, then we have reports. Under reports, it's an expandable menu which has inventory. Below inventory, we have a profit and loss. Then we also have a debtors report, creditors report, and sales report. Then after reports, we also have my business and user management. So a quick overview, I'll start with the product and services. So product and services, you're able to see all your list of products and services. You can add the new products or services and define the category, either product or service. You can also import your items or your products from an Excel file into your database. Then after products and services, I'll be able to show you for the sales. Starting for the sales, we'll start with invoices. So invoices it's a very easy to use navigation and view. So you can see you have your total invoices, a total of products and services. You can also filter by dates created for a specific period. Then you can also add a new invoice. You can see the screen for adding a new invoice. You can select customer, the delivery dates. You can also add the payment terms, and finally your items or services for the invoice. Apart from that, you can also see the details for an invoice that has been created by clicking on the created invoice. You're able to see an overview of the invoice that you just created. At the center, you can see items, and finally a receipt, which is also downloadable and shared. Below here, you can see you can also create a credit note for the invoice. Apart from the invoice, we have this other type of sale, which is a receipt. So on the top menu again, you access the receipts via the menu under sales. You can click on receipts. You can issue a new receipt by clicking new. You're able to also select the fields for the receipts and items, and you're also able to make a receipt. Once you've made your sales, you can access the reports via the reports and sales report. And you're able to see all the sales that you made, whether it was an invoice or a receipt. Then you can also access the credit notes. So credit notes are created either for invoices or receipts, and you can be able to view them under credit notes. On to the next, you can also see that you have an option to receive payments. So these are payments for each of the invoice that has been made. So you can receive the payments for the invoices. Then on to purchases, we have purchase orders. You can create a new purchase order. You can choose the vendor and also provide the details for the issue date and select items and services. On creating a purchase order, you can also view the details by clicking on a purchase order, and you can be able to either download and see the items. You can even edit the purchase order. On to the next item, I'll show the purchases, which is under purchases, under the second item after purchase orders. So here you can be able also to create a new purchase. You can provide for the details for the purchase. choose the vendor and provide the items that were purchased. Then for the purchases, you can also be able to issue a debit note depending on the items that you want to debit to the supplier or to the vendor. That's it for the purchases. Then we have the debit notes. So when you issue a debit note, all debit notes should appear here under debit notes. Then the next item will be, the suppliers, or rather the vendors. You can also import the suppliers. You can click on a supplier and provide in their details. Then we have pay purchases. So pay purchases, this is where you pay for the purchases that were made from the suppliers. So you can click on pay. Then you're able to see where you provide the payment details to make a payment to the supplier, or rather the vendor. Then the final thing, we have expenses. So also for the expenses, you can create a new expense, can select a category or add a category, then provide all the details. Then you can also view on an expense, and you'll be able to edit or view the details. Then also we have customers. So customers, you can be able to create a customer, import contacts from your contact phone book. You can also upload an Excel file for all the customers in case you have a large list of them. Then onto the reports, we have an inventory. So this is the cost of goods sold. We have at the center return goods, and we have the products, or rather the items for your organization. Then the next onto report, we have a profit and loss. Then we have a debtors report. The debtors report is people that owe you money. You can download the PDF and also Excel file. Apart from debtors, we have the creditors report, which is money owed to the suppliers. The same thing, you can see the aging receivables for specific periods of number of days, for 30 days, for 90 days, and the total amount owed. You can also download the PDF and also the Excel file. Then I'll show you my business. So my business, these are the details for your business. So we have the payment accounts. We also have the information about your business, which you can also be able to edit. You can also add a payment account. And then the final thing that I'll be showing you will be the user management. So user management, this is where you can add other users to manage your business. We have a different type of roles. We have an admin, we have a cashier. We also have an accountant. So you can choose to add a new user and provide the roles under which they'll be able to depending on the role that has been provided. So that is a brief overview of the MyAccurate Books mobile application. Some of the menus will be available at the dashboard. Menus like items, credit notes, you can still click on them, and they'll be able to take you to the respective pages. Also for the receipts, the same. These items are very clickable at the dashboard, and you're also able to access a bottom navigation with customers, sales report, invoices, dashboard, and the receipts. So that is all about the mobile application. At this moment, I'd like to welcome my colleague who will be taking you through the web version of my Accurate Books accounting software. Thank you for your time and your patience.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Kennedy. I'll take you briefly through the My Accurate Books website version. So this can be accessed from the URL that I shared in the chat. This is the landing page of the My Accurate Book. And login, you can also get the link for the Play Store from here. So let's go ahead and log in. Yeah, this is the login page. If you don't have an account, you can click that. That's where you register. You enter your details, same as the ones on the app. Yeah, so you can skip that for now. Also, if you forget your password, that's where you can change it from. So let's log into the system. Okay, so after logging in, we're greeted with the dashboard, which has a relation of analytics ranging from sales, expenses, purchases, profit and loss. You also have the sales charts right there, and also the data reports. Yeah, you can play around with that. So also on the left side, so that will be the navigation menu where you can navigate through. You can go to the items, inventory. So here you'll see a list of items that you have in your system. You can add, you can view an item, you can edit an item, you can also you can delete an item from here. Yeah, you want to add a new item, there's two options. You can create a new one, or you can import from an Excel sheet. Yeah. So you can create a new item from that form provided right there, or you can import from there. So in the import menu, you can download a template. So this will guide you to arrange your items in that template. Uh, yeah, you can choose a file from your existing file, Excel, maybe one that is ready, then you can upload it. The next part of the sales. The sales menu, you have the invoices, receipts, credit notes, the receipt payment. Yeah, so on the invoices, we have a list of invoices. You can see the total product sold through an invoice and the services. You can customize your dates for the records, so you can go far back from when you started using the system. Also, you can filter that. You can also add a new invoice from here. Yeah, so that is the requirement. From an invoice, you can create a credit note from here. Let's say you made a purchase, made a sale through an invoice. Maybe the customer returned an item. You can create a credit note out of it through there. Yes, so you can select an item, you enter the quantity, then you enter your reason, you add that item, and you create that credit note. The same is done on the receipts. So you can create a receipt from here, from that form right there. You can also create a credit note. Yes, you can see a list of your receipts from there too. So you also have a credit notes tab showing you a list of credit notes that you've created in the system. So they'll appear in a list form right there. Moving on swiftly, you also have the receive payments for the invoices. So maybe if a customer made a sale, maybe you made a sale through invoices, you want to pay for that particular invoice. So let's say maybe Juki Betty wants to pay for the invoice they made. They can click that, see their list of invoices, and select the particular one they want to pay for. Yeah, and you can move on from there. Yeah, so you enter the details of that payment right there. Also have a list of customers. So you want to add a customer to your system. So initially you have a default walk-in customer that you use for the customers that don't have okay, for the regular customers that you don't need to enter their details. Yeah. Okay, so move on to purchases. So you have purchase orders, purchase, debit notes, suppliers, and pay purchase. The purchase orders, you can create a purchase order. So if you want to buy something from a supplier, you create a purchase order from here. Maybe you can download it and send it to the supplier if they have those items, and they can be delivered to you. Okay, so you come there, add a purchase order, enter the details, you can close or save it. Yes, you can view that purchase order, you can approve it. So this one has been approved. So for the ones that are open, maybe the supplier approved that purchase order. You don't need to go and create a purchase again. You can just edit it by approving it. So yeah, you can come there, change the status to approve or cancel. Yes, so you can move on, purchase. You approve a purchase order, it comes to purchases to your list of purchases here. It becomes unpaid. Yes, so in this list you have a list of purchases that have been made throughout. You can record a new purchase that you've made. You can select whether it's an invoice purchase or a receipt purchase. The invoice number, receipt number, the vendor, and the items. You can, and also you can upload or attach that invoice or receipt from the supplier. Yeah. And also you can create a debit note. A debit note is the opposite of an credit note. Yeah, so if you return something to the supplier, maybe it was expired or it was faulty, you can record that in your system by creating a debit note for that. You also can see a list of your debit notes right there. Yes, you can also download it right there. You also have suppliers. So these are the list of your suppliers that you purchase your goods from. If you don't have one, you can add them from there. If you have a list, you can import them from that function there. So you can download the vendor template and upload it from there. Yes. So on the pay purchase, Yes, hello. Hopefully you can hear me. So sorry about that. Technically, yes. So the pay purchase works the same way as they receive invoices, only that you're paying for the purchases that you made from your supplier. So you'll have a list of the purchases here, and you can pay for them same way you are paying for them in the received payment. So moving on, you have yeah. So you have a list of your expenses that you accrue. You can add it from here. Same way, you choose the category of the expense. It's, internet, subscriptions, salary, etc. It's not in the category list provided. You can add your category from there. Then you can add the payment methods, add the descriptions. Yes, and it will appear right here. Yeah. Moving on, we have the reports. We have the inventory reports, profit and loss reports, debtors reports, creditors and sales. So the inventory report, you have the cost of goods sold report. So you have a report for the goods that you've sold in this period right here. So the amount is that. You can filter the dates from here. Yeah. You also have a list of your products that you currently have in stock. So you have the list right there for the products, the items, and also you have the returned goods report right below. So these are the items that you returned and stating their reasons. Yeah. So if it's defective and all, it will be indicated right there. So these ones happen when you create a debit note. So on the profit and loss statement, we have that. So you have the list of the expenses. Then we have the total sales right there, cost of goods sold, the gross profit. Then we sum up to that profit loss. We also have the debtors report, list of your debts from the customers, and yeah. So you'll see the list dating from 30 days, 60, 90, and over 90 days, and the total. You can also download the PDF and Excel from there. We also have the creditors report. So these are the business creditors reports. Same way for the 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days, and over 90 days. You also have the sales reports right there. So for all the sales transactions, you'll see them from here. So the status for the full and paid and the partial This depend on the invoice amount the customers paid. The customers paid fully will show that. Partially will also indicate it. Yeah. You can also download an Excel or a PDF. Moving on, you have the user management. So right here, you'll see the total users in the system, your business, that is. You can see their roles for the admins. So these are the list of your users. And you can see their status if they're active or not active. If you edit the customer status to be inactive, they won't be able to access that system. Yeah, and also the admin has a privilege of editing the user's permissions. So if you have maybe cashier, you don't want them to access the user management or the reports, the inventory, you can toggle that right there. The user cannot see that. Yes. Also, we have the yes. I think that's all. You can add a user to your system from here. You enter their name, the email, phone number, the role that you want to give them. It's an admin. The permissions you want to give that admin. Then you can add them. Yes, I think that is that. So, right, we have the business profile where you can edit the business details that business you have your business that is sorry. So we have the business email is that the number, the location. If you have a website, you can also link it right there. Yes. So you can also add the payment details that you'll be receiving your money, and you can edit that from that side. If you want to add a logo to your business, you can edit it from there. Yes. So I think that is it. If there's any question, you can shoot it in the chat. You'll be responded to. Yes. If you have any questions, you can list them. Okay. And you can unmute yourself if you have a question. I would also encourage you to download the app. Go to the Play Store, search My Accurate as one word, books as another word. And also a link has been provided in the chat. You can try it out and give your feedback. Okay. So I'd like to welcome back Madam Regina. Dom, you can take over.
You can send your questions on the chat. And also, if you want to reach us, you can reach us through our customer service number. I will paste it on the chat. So it's 0797 839 314. It's on the chat. So if you have any questions, any difficulties navigating the system, you can just reach out and we'll be sure to help you. If you don't have any more questions, I think we can end it there. Thank you for coming. Download the app, make sales, and track your books. Have a good rest of your day and a wonderful weekend.